Hello and welcome now to this video. So in this video I wanted to talk about what NI dominance means, because I feel like far too many people are very confused as to what introverted intuition dominant actually means and what it looks like. People think of it as like this ethereal thing that's like revolutionary, and all the really intelligent people, it's because they're introverted intuitive dominance and whatever. And it's like, you're giving NI way too much credit here. NI is not this amazing philosophical thing that if you have NI as your dominant function, then that means that you're just this super brilliant, spiritual, metaphysical leader or whatever. No, that notion needs to die. That is the notion that is created because of, in a previous video, I touched on it, where a lot of videos, they portray INFJs and INTJs as this as these super intelligent, other, we exist on a different plane of reality, and we're just so above it all, and we're just super intelligent, and we're we're the spiritual leaders or whatever. And it's like, no, that's not NI dominance. What it is mostly, honestly, is it would be mostly the other introverted function. Or for INTJs, it would be introverted feeling, and then for INFJs, it would be introverted thinking. And then it's introverted feeling for INTJs, introverted feeling tapping into NI, and then using extroverted thinking in a lot of the ways that they go about things. And then for INFJs, it's the same thing, but with introverted thinking and extroverted feeling, right? But NI is not this otherworldly function that gives NI dominant people this ability to just be psychics and just know everything that's going to happen or whatever. That's not really how NI functions. It lends a hand in the predictability or the predictions that INFJs and INTJs can have. But it in and of itself is not the thing that leads to a conclusion, right? So what is NI? NI basically is just having a bird's eye view of things. That's all it is, right? It's almost like, imagine you are you're navigating the oceans on a pirate ship, right? And each function will have its job on the ship. NI's job on this ship, when you are NI dominant, the way you navigate the oceans on your pirate ship is, what is it called? Not the cockpit, the crow's nest. You're in the crow's nest. You're at the very tippy top of the sail thing or whatever. I don't know ship terms here, but you know what I'm talking about. At the very tippy top, there's a little thingy where a person can stand there with a little telescope, and they can see out into the distance so that they can be like, hey, we have land up ahead or whatever. That is NI. NI is that. NI is the ability to see out far ahead, but you may not be able to distinguish specifically what it is that you're looking at. So to use the metaphor, you're on the pirate ship, you have the telescope, you're honing in on something. It looks like an island, but you're not entirely sure. So you tell the captain, your NI tells the rest of the functions, hey, we have this island out there. We need to start looking into that. Specifically, the captain in this situation would be introverted thinking for INFJs. I'll use INFJs as the example because that's what I am, and that's how I know how to explain things. But the captain, being introverted thinking, is being told by the NI seeking out or seeing that island out in the distance, hey, we have an island. So then TI captain is going to be like, All right, make sail to over there. And TI captain is going to be kind of like looking around and recognizing like patterns of, oh, I've seen these types of waves before. And oh, I've seen like these creatures before that are in the ocean right now. I recognize those creatures. That means that we must be in these types of waters, right? And the TI will start navigating its way to that island and figuring out if what island this is, if it even is an island, or what the thing that NI spotted, what it's all about, right? This is how NI functions. NI is that bird's view perspective. It is not the thing that's going to narrow in on the thing in terms of like the ideas, but it's going to be like bird's eye view, scoping everything, and then NI will be like, oh shit, we noticed the thing. That is NI, right? NI will notice the thing, but in the case of INFJs, TI will take over and hone in on that thing and kind of like make sense to why that thing exists in the first place. So there's another YouTuber who explained it in a way that I really liked. What's his name? I think Cognitive Personalities. He's a really great YouTube channel, by the way. He explained it kind of like NI is like peripheral vision, right? You're like your vision. So you're just kind of like looking out in the world and you're not really like focusing in on things. And then let me get my chapstick for the example here. You're kind of just like looking around the world and whatever. And then in comes the chapstick. Oh shit. NI picks up on it. NI notices the chapstick because it's, moving and it catches my attention. And then TI will take place and be like, okay, so let's study this. It's cherry chapstick. It is Carmex brand, so on and so forth. And it'll start making sense of that, right? So it's not uncommon for NI dominance to... This is gonna like sound weird, but please bear with me here. It's not uncommon for NI dominance to have an idea of what they're trying to get to. So like we can see the result, but the result is covered in fog, right? So it's like we can see where we want to go to with our idea. And as we think about it and we are in our head about it and we give it thought and give it thought and give it thought, we eventually start recognizing things around. Like I said, the captain starts recognizing the fish in the water and the type of water and the waves that are coming from the water, all the patterns and stuff like that. That starts getting recognized and picked up. And eventually it gets to a point where enough patterns are recognized and we can draw conclusions. Okay, this is what this thing is. This is now the like I see now the path laid before me to get to that conclusion, and now I see the conclusion. But specifically what NI is like I said, it's that bird's eye view. It's not this mysterious, like, otherworldly, mysterious thing or whatever. It's basically being able to see the bigger picture in things. Like if you were putting a puzzle together, NI is not really going to pay attention to the individual pieces to try and figure out one by one and step by step. This piece connects to this piece connects to this piece connects to this piece. Oh shit, now we have a picture here. That's not how NI works. NI is going to say, okay, I can see kind of the big picture of this entire puzzle. It's supposed to be a landscape of a beach, and there's a little island here with a palm tree and some coconuts, and there's a pirate ship in the distance. Like I can kind of see these things, right? That's NI, and I will see that bigger picture. So the problem that NI has is that a big blind spot of NI is that it misses the details a lot of the time. So it'll see the bigger picture. It'll jump to that like end conclusion, that like the answer or whatever the conclusion that you're trying to get to. It'll see it and it'll be like, okay, how do we get there now? How do we get there so that I can understand this conclusion better? And it jumps to it using pattern recognition. So it'll be like, okay, we've seen this before, so we can put all the little pieces here and pieces there. but it's not really concerned too much with the details. So what could happen is you might be able to recreate the puzzle, right? But you're recreating it with putting the wrong pieces in the wrong spots, but it still makes out the picture, right? So you don't get that like exact picture of what the puzzle is, but you get a rough estimation of it because, well, you have all the blue pieces together for the sky. They might not be in the right order, but they're all together. And you can clearly make out that it's a sky. You can have all the pieces of the ship, maybe a little bit out of order, but hey, you can still tell it's a ship. That's kind of the blind spot of NI. But that is why we have TI and other functions and stuff that can work to putting that puzzle together in a more completed form. I really need a sneeze. I've been feeling a sneeze coming on for like 2 minutes now. And it like comes and goes and comes and goes. But anyway, this was a shorter video, but I just kind of wanted to touch on what NI specifically is, because I feel like there's a lot of confusion and a lot of misinformation out there of what introverted intuition truly is. It is not, like I said, it is not what a lot of these videos online are going to want to make you believe it is. And the reason why so many people are like, I'm NI dominant 100%, because I'm, I can think of things and I can like predict things sometimes, and I can sometimes see the bigger picture. No, that's because those videos are very vague. NI dominance is not this ethereal thing. It just gives you a bird's eye view constantly. You're always scoping and mapping out the world around you and ideas and stuff like that. And your NI will at some point pick up on something and dig into that rabbit hole, right? You will, like, when I'm telling you, when NI gets a hold of something in your vision and like in your mind's eye or whatever, and you come across an idea or whatever, you will dig into that rabbit hole to the very end of it until you find a conclusive answer that answers everything from the very beginning to that very end. And it's like, okay, this is the conclusion now, right? I wanted to say, it's not unusual to hear somebody who is NI dominant when they're talking about like an idea. A lot of people think that, this is me giving away like trade secrets here a little bit, but a lot of people think that NI dominance, we like know a lot of the things that we know like before we say them. But the truth is, I'm not going to say all the time, I'm not going to say for every single NI dominant, but a lot of NI dominance, the way we kind of function is that as we're talking and as we're expressing the idea and getting to that conclusion, that's happening in real time. Like, it's not, the NI dominant is not like, didn't have these thoughts before. Like, this is if it's a new idea specifically. If it's an idea they've thought of before, yeah, of course, they've already gone down that rabbit hole. But sometimes when it's like a new idea, they are figuring it out as they're telling you it. But it might come across like they already knew these things, but it's like, no, truth is, I was kind of going into it not really having a very... honestly, this might just be me. This might just be me, but this is a trade secret of me as a person, right? I don't always have my shit figured out, even though I might sound like I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm like, oh, this has been like planned before, and I know exactly what's going on and whatever. Nah, a lot of the times I'm going into things with no idea where I'm going and relying solely on NI and TI to take over and get me to where I need to go. And they do so very proficiently because I've been doing it my whole life, right? My NI will eventually pick up on something and start going down that rabbit hole in real time, and we get to the conclusion, and it made sense along the way because TI recognizes patterns, right? Anyway, I don't know where else this video is going at this point. It was gonna be one of my shorter videos, but yeah, I am who I am. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on the subject of NI because I feel like far too many people are very confused about it. But as always, don't forget to subscribe. So up, down, left and right, pink and blue, wherever the subscribe button is for you. And hooty hooty hoo. What? I don't know. Anyway, please subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. And thanks for watching. Bye.